that's funny.
We are live, and I can see, Mike Collins, Ryan Jozwiak, Aaron Beasley, Eugene Napolean. Hey, I called you Gene, man. I've always called you Gene. You got a problem with Gene?
Not at all. You good?
I got some lady, man, saying, hey, his name's Eugene. And I'm like, wait a minute, I've been calling him Gene since 1987.
Right.
All right, I want to make sure, because you got to tell me, man. You know, because, hey, Brian, you might want to keep your head on that Parnar there, because that's more important than your face. Okay? No, you're good there, right? Right in the middle. Right in the middle. In the middle. Yeah, there you go. How is it there, Bees, how is it in Potsdam, Pennsylvania?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Gene, how is it up there in Jersey, man? Jersey City.
It's good, man. It's good. I'm in Broadway, New Jersey. Nice weather today.
You know, I made this video, man, like, you know, with our production team. You like this right here? You check up. MOP, baby. Thunder Legends. Pregame.
You can try to hide. You can try to run.
Talking Mountaineer football, baby.
I'm coming for you.
You know what's the best thing about Mountaineers? We're not soft. We don't cry when things go south. We confront it.
Find a way!
I know my coach can't wait. He's on the soccer field right now. We're all checked up.
How we roll.
Hi, my name is James Schmitt, and I'm from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. And when I'm back home in the Pittsburgh area, you can find me at my local Parmar store.
We had that golden boot pride at Parmar. There are literally hundreds of Parmar stores in West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and even more on the way. Download the Parmar app to save even more. And whether it's food, gas, groceries, or whatever, we have you covered at Parmar. West Virginia proud and ready to serve you.
If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
Where the true gold and blue faithful go for the best in beer, burgers, pizza, wings, and more? It's the Mountaineer Tap House on the Evansdale campus. Mountaineer Tap House features well over 40 craft beers on tap, plus the best appetizers, salads, burgers, wings, pizza, and tacos the University City has to offer. Enjoy their exclusive craft cocktails too. Dine on the balcony or chill out inside with walls and walls of TVs. Follow Mountaineer Tap House on social media. Mountaineer Tap House, second floor above the Parmar store on the Evansdale campus.
All right. Welcome to Mountaineer Legends Pregame. Yeah, thank you for all being great Mountaineers. Well, thank you for being a great Mountaineer, Mr. Facebook user. I couldn't even see who that was. We have a big day for you. It's the Towson game. It's a Mountaineer game day. It's a day where the Mountaineers that are 0-2 on the season have to come together as a team, offensively, defensively, special teams wise. They have to come as a program because they're 0-2, but the only ones, as Neil Brown said at the beginning of the week, only they can fix it. These fine, great legends of Mountaineers, all yourselves, we all can't fix it. Only they can fix it. And let's hope watching today that today is the beginning of a big, big win streak. One that all Mountaineers can be proud, happy, excited for this 2022 season. Because there are some bad things that need to be corrected. We all know that. But there are some good things that are waiting. If we could just get them over the hump. Get them over that mountain, Big Joes. And everybody, welcome to Mountaineer Legends Pregame with the big bad Brian Jozwiak and myself, and we have special guest. Joes, how are we today?
Wolf, I'm fan-daggone-tastic down here in South Florida, brother. And hey, I think I'd rather be on the field up there getting ready to tune up for Towson, because you know what? Nothing else matters, Wolf. Nothing else matters. The only thing that matters is right now, today, and getting that W. Like you said, finding a way to win, putting it all together. I don't care who we're playing. It doesn't matter. You take them one at a time, line them up. It doesn't matter who you're playing, whether it be a Pitt or a Towson. You gotta get ready to do what you got to do. And your brothers, that's the only thing that matters. Neil Brown ain't made a tackle yet, and none of them other guys have caught a pass. What matters is the guys that hit that field today. Have they prepared this week? Have they put all the junk, all the distortion, all the distraction out of their heads and prepared to play this game like it's supposed to be played? Make the adjustments, man. Hit that field and take the victory. We got to have a win. Doesn't matter who we're playing. We got to have a win, Wolf.
Yeah, there's absolutely no doubt we got to have a win. FCS Towson, although it's going to be interesting because they have a lot of FBS players that have transferred in. In fact, Aaron Beasley, they have transferred in 50 players since the spring. I would assume spring is included in that statement, but 50. How can you go ahead? And they're 2-0, 2-0, beating Bucknell and Morgan State. And they have all these guys that come off FBS, but for some reason they had to transfer, but they come together for Townsend. But how do you put 50 together in 3 months?
Hey, man, it's the times now, like we're seeing this everywhere. And, I think a lot of it has to do with you got a good coach, guys are going to come. And, I mean, like that area is pretty football tradition. I mean, you got the Maryland, D.C., Delaware, PA. I mean, so they bring in talent. I know a couple guys like from around my way that went down there right out of high school, and they love it down there. So, like you said, you guys said it. It doesn't matter who we play. You just got to go out there, one play, grade 100%, and on to the next play. And that's kind of how we played. That's me and Mike C. That was our thing. Get 100% every play, and like that's kind of what's going on now. It looks like there's a lot of thinking, like you guys said, and not flying to the ball. And I think our weakness right now is our defense, and that's not good because we got a tough run coming up.
Okay, hang on, don't get too far ahead of me. Don't get too far ahead of me. We got some stuff. Now, you brought in Mike Collins, Mr. Captain, Mr. Shoulder Pads. I wanted to call him Captain America because he's a safety that very few. We have some great safeties. You got the original Italian stallion, Bo Orlando. You have, oh my gosh, all the great safeties. Steve Newberry. You can go down the list. But Mikey C, right here, one of the legends in that safety spot, Mike Collins. Up there listening and watching his kid in soccer. So if you hear him start cheering or probably start yelling, either way, he's coaching up his kid. But what's your first take there, Mike Collins?
My first take, hear me fine, correct?
Yeah, just keep going.
Yeah, is our defense not very, very good. It's in the back end. We have talking about transfers. It's numbers. Our top our first year transfer. That's the piece for success in mouth at an FCS level. Guys in. You're gonna have some guys who are going to be a higher level than what they could recruit. But at West Virginia, guys and developing guys up, and we shouldn't have to go and have have that first year transfer guys. That's the issue. Seeing talk about alignment, and it goes to the fact of what people thinking as opposed to playing because they don't know this system. New.
All right.
Yeah. So, but hey, let's learn today to see the true freshman talking about playing today, game experience, and so hand it up. Let's get a W. Doesn't matter. Let's just get
all right,
the
man.
W.
Thank you, Mike, on that. We got mostly, you're going to play some first-year players in there, and they have to. I mean, it is an opportunity with being 0-2 with your first FCS game. And we can't talk about that because crazy things have been happening this season. If there's any opportunity, Eugene Napoleon, great running back for the Mountaineers, we call him number 33. If there's anything you see about this time of this game, to go ahead and try to make things better, to try to correct the mistakes that this team, which was close, but at the same time, those mistakes were critical enough to make the Mountaineers 0-2.
Listen, I always go back to the football IQ part of it and fundamental football, situational football, all of that good stuff. So we come from an era, under Coach Nealon where adjustments were key. So making the proper adjustments was always key, no matter who you were playing against. My worry today is you look at Towson, and again, like you said, well, if they have 50 transfers or so in there, they got talent. I always tell people, listen, they got scholarship student athletes too. Mm-hmm. And those guys come in, they're going to play with some pride. They don't want to come into Morgantown and get drummed. So I guarantee you they're going to come in ready to play. We have to make the steady adjustments, the correct adjustments, and we have to play Mountaineer football. What does that mean? On defense, we like to smash. Listen, I know my years down there, we were punching you in the mouth. The defense was literally punching you in the mouth. Offense, we had, Wolf. We scored a lot of points. The defense came in. We were actually competing. They'll get a pick, take it to the house, getting us the ball back on offense. We have to play that brand of football. And people have to know when you come to Morgantown and play at our house, you're coming in a hornet's nest. You're not coming in and just get let off the hook. They have to know that. We have to start that today. We have to start that today.
Yeah, there's no doubt, Gene. I appreciate that. That's a really good summary because you did score a lot of points because I was blocking for you. I'll tell you that much right now. But listen, man, you talked about players, okay? You have the quarterback, number 4, Tyrell Pregame. He's got 352 yards so far this season. He's a transfer from Maryland and Western Kentucky, man. I mean, this is a guy who's legit. He actually played at Maryland, so he's not afraid to come on to Mountaineer Field and go against this defense. But when you look at this offense and defense and now special teams, and I really want to talk about this first because Neil Brown, for the past years that I've known him, every week I did an 1891, which was a report with him, sitting right next to him, doing an interview. He talks special teams first. When we go on the radio show for the past 3 years, Neil Brown has talked special teams first. And until we had that turnover against Kansas, the special teams has been playing lights out. 3 punts inside the 20, a block punt that led to a score inside the 10 for the Pitt game. So when I'm seeing the special teams here, and he's talking about that they were farther ahead in the preseason in the camp, right before the Pitt game, he said that our special teams are ahead of their time. Okay, or the head of the season where they're at, we're ahead of where they're expected. And it's so important to Neil Brown. Where are these special teams? And Joes, I'm going to go to you for this, and we're just going to go on down the line, man, and tell me how important special teams are. Because just what I said last week, and I don't want to talk too much here, but Kansas, I noticed that they were becoming a better team because their special teams gave a damn. Now, if you recall, offensively, they may have been okay one year. Defensively, they may have been okay one year. But they were never okay in special teams because they were not a team. They never put it together. So when you saw a team like Kansas putting it together as special teams, you knew that they were building up. They must have been pretty good on offense and defense because when you care about special teams, that means you care about everything else. And that means it's a sign of a better team. So, Joes, where are the Mountaineers when it comes to special teams?
Well, first of all, special teams are game breakers. Special teams are one of the 3 key phases of a football game: offense, defense, special teams. If you can't get it done in special teams and you make big errors there, you got a problem because usually you're creating momentum, all right? Either you're giving it back or you're taking it with big plays. I know a lot of offensive coordinators that will claim the most important play they have in their arsenal is a punt because it's all about field position, and those decisions that you make, in your special teams create field position. And we also have opportunity for scoring. All right. We can score on special teams. So special teams in my world have always been game-breaking opportunities, and they got to be taken seriously. And we got a lot of guys on our football team that this is how they got a chance to make a mark. They're not going to get a whole lot of playing time maybe on offense and defense, but hey, I can make big contributions on special teams. And let's face it, again, these are opportunities that we can't let slip through our fingers. They are critical, and I hope we take them seriously. We've made some pretty good things happen with special teams this year thus far. But we got to take advantage. We got to take advantage.
Go ahead, Bees. What's your thoughts, man? Because I know you played some teams in your time.
Yeah, I played all of them. I mean, it's the most yardage exchange throughout the game, throughout the kickoffs, the punts. So, like you said, Jaws took the word out of my mouth. I was like, man, momentum is everything in football. It's like it's an unseen, untouchable. You don't know when it's going to happen, but it's the most important part of every game. Momentum.
Block punt.
Oh, block punch. I mean, even getting somebody pinned inside the 5-yard line, your defense can come out there and set the field position right back for your team. So it's everything. I mean, and I think we really have to find a way to get some punt returns. When's the last time we've had a punt return for a touchdown? It's been a while since we had some of these big plays. And this would be a great time, going against the FCS. Maybe this would be a good week to do it,
Well, probably because we haven't had you back there running the ball. Or maybe that was, just interceptions.
I was slow.
Yeah, you know what? Great anticipation. Let's keep going here. Shoulder pad, Mike Collins, so that we can get half of what he's saying here. Go ahead, Mike.
Half of what phases. There's offense, defense, and we are to not be three phases, and we have to be capable in all three. And so when you drop the ball, it's a huge momentum, the whole complexion of the game. And honestly, that was all game. If we catch them, we probably score in the game. But that's our margin of error is. And like Aaron said, the range of yardage throughout the game, it's imperative that on special teams, when we convert a 40-yard field goal, we end up on a kickoff to tackle them. And when we get if on a punt return, you got to take advantage of it without some penalty of that nature. And what that all that's the business of coaching. Remember what Coach Neal used to all these little things that get you beat? Special teams are. It's the little.
Yeah, you just said
so.
The little things that get you beat. What did Brown say there, Eugene Napoleon, about that? About them focusing on the little things, because we all know when you can focus on the little things, those bigger things become easier, and those bigger things lead to W's. Where are the Mountaineer special teams, Eugene Napoleon?
Tell you something. I always say it's cliche-ish or whatever the case may be, but it's a little analogy I always put together. If you take care of the little things, you will never have a big problem, right? So to me, the whole special teams deal, I really respect it. That's one of the most important, critical parts of the game. And we have to take more advantage of that, the punts, the kickoff returns, all that kind of stuff. But the key is we look good, special teams against Pitt. We didn't look as good as we should have, as clean as we should have against Kansas. So now we have a chance to get it back on track against Towson, right? I also think if we can do that today, it's going to set the tone, hopefully, for the rest of the season. Get those guys the confidence that they need. I want to see at least, this is going to be crazy, but I want to see a kickoff return for a touch. I want to see a punt return for a touch. I want to see somebody knock somebody's head off, recover a fumble on a punt. These things we have to have. We've always done well when you look at our record, right? in the history of West Virginia football when we do well on special teams. That's just a phase of the game that you have to have. Hopefully today we can get this thing back on track. We have to.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I like what everybody, all of you said that, because for the first part, I didn't think Jozwiak was going to have a clue is what I was talking about. But that's not true. Not true with Big Jozer. Now, we got Neil Brown. So in the with this interview he was doing, he was talking about facing the issue, because we all know 0-2 is pretty ugly for the Mountaineers. Mountaineer, we don't accept this as a fan base. We don't accept it. And you've heard all the rumblings going on, the outside noise. There we go. Let's listen to Neil Brown.
I think you got to meet it head on. It is what it is. We're 0-2 football team. Now, my approach is not half empty. My approach is we got 10 games left. I'm only focused on one, and it's focusing on, all right, what do we need to fix? Well, we've got to do a better job taking care of the football.
Okay, so that's Neil, a really quick thing. I cut it off before he said about the other things. So we know, what are the problems? Now, I'm going to start off with you, Bees, on this one. What are the problems with this Mountaineer team? And it's more than just the defense, because it's a team game. And when your offense doesn't score more than your opponent does, it is a reflection on the whole team. Shoot, man.
I agree to a certain extent, but as a former defensive back at West Virginia, our standard was our defense. You know, we set the tone for the whole team. And like Eugene said, like, we caused turnovers. We made our tackles. We made plays. And that's the one thing. Like, I understand it's a team game, but I just don't see us making plays. Like, when an interception's there, how many turnovers have we caused in 2 games? 1? That's not a way to win, because my thing is, we talked about momentum. We talked about all these other factors. The main thing is to stop the team from scoring more than your team. We had, what was our goal? 17 points or less. Now we gave up 30-some points in 2 games. That's not good defense. If we're scoring enough points to win, I have to put it on the defense. I'm a defender.
All right, I got that. And Mike, you're a defensive guy too. And I guess I'm going to go to you, because let's hear it for the defensive guys, because I'm going to tell you this. I agree with you, Mr. Beasley, to a certain but I'm also going to tell you that there's also offensive linemen and tight ends and wide receivers and running backs, like this guy here that's right below you, Eugene Napoleon, that had something to say about that. But I'm gonna hold off and let them defend themselves. I don't need to defend them. I already did for years. I don't need to anymore protect them. Mike Collins, give me your defensive take.
Like Aaron's saying, we're not making any. It goes on the end of our defense. Our front's really, really good. They're talented. When you got a Stills and Austin and those other guys that you have there, they're good football. And now they didn't week, so now it gets to, so you know the defense. I mean, the defensive backs have to be a part of it. Not getting pressure. They got to be able to cover, be able to line up correctly. They got to be able to make that playing flag football. I mean, call guys out, but there's a couple guys on the field that are literally they're out there playing instead of tackling people, and so that's what's most frustrating. And a lot of that we have 4 guys are 2 deep that are first players transfer. These are not guys that, and so that's my frustration. It's not up to the standard. Winning the 2000, the first year in the statistically, we are dead. Every team defensive category, that's not the standard. But Eugene mentioned it. Aaron has mentioned the standard. That's not what we do. That's not how we.
Yep. All right, Gene. So that being said, you heard from the 2 defensive guys. What's your take on what's wrong with this West Virginia team?
We're not playing consistent. And you're not going to win or do anything successfully if you're not consistent. Again, when I saw the Pitt game, I was fired up. I was going crazy because I'm looking at us, even though it was a sample size, I'm thinking we got a chance to be really good. Because, up front, we look good up front. The DBs played good enough in that Pitt game to win that game. But then again, we come out against Kansas, and it was like a totally different team. So somewhere along the lines, you get off track. Somewhere along the lines, you're not making the connection of how serious this is and how we need to play, 4 quarters of football to win a game. And that's something that goes into coaching. That's something that goes into your staff meetings. That's something that goes into the collective unity of your team. We have to come out and play. Everybody, man for man, is responsible for turning this thing around. It's not one singular player or two play. This is a whole team thing. And what I love about my years at WVU, and I love every last person who put that uniform on, because we know what it takes to win multiple games consecutively when you're playing well. We're not playing well right now. And I got to put that on. It's not so-called the players, because the players don't put themselves on the field. So the staff, if you see that somebody's not doing what they're supposed to do, we got to make sure we make those adjustments early, quick, get it done. Again, today is a day. I'm not downing or ragging on Towson, but today is a day we got an opportunity to get this thing, back on track, and then hopefully we can carry it out for the next 9 to 10 weeks.
Okay, so you're saying adjustments needed to be better than
absolutely.
Okay, Joe, give us your take on what's happening with this team and where they need to improve.
How much time I got, Wolf?
Well,
you
not
want,
that much.
You want the laundry list, or do you want the short game? What do you want?
I want the size.
So I swear, seriously, being a guy from the early 80s and remembering how the game used to be played, we're soft. We're just soft. We don't strike. We're afraid to strike. We're behind plays because we take lousy angles. Those are little things that you guys are all talking about. That's got to be fixed in practice. That's about repetition, and it's not about me running and taking a nap in my pod and going and getting a little massage in a bath. It's about me getting in there and working my tail off to improve and fix the mistakes. How dare you jump off sides in a short yardage situation? Get your head out of your butt. You're not concentrating. And in order to do that, you got to be put pressured situations in practice. And you got to do it a lot. And that's just my personal feeling. I'd like to see us with a little harder edge. We've got guys that are on our football team. Zach Frazier, one of them. He's an animal. He lets the animal out. Well, we need to get everybody letting the animal out. And as a pack, we got to be a pack. We can't point fingers. We can't isolate. We can't make excuses. We got to get in there and we got to form the pack, which leads me to this. Man, when you're 0-2, we ain't been 0-2 since the freaking 70s. But I've been 0-2. I've been 0-10, all right? Somewhere along the line, we got to build that little wall up. And we got to look internally into the locker room. None of us are in that locker room. Now, we've all been in locker rooms, all right? And we've been in locker rooms sometimes even, together, okay? But we've been in locker rooms. What happens now is those guys, those players, those Mountaineer brothers have to decide what they want out of this football season and what are they willing to give each other to get over the hump. I can't be stomping you and pointing fingers at you, because when I point a finger, there's 3 pointing back at me. So I got to take my personal responsibility to my brothers to get my job done to the best of my ability every single play. We're just not doing that. And we're kind of soft in some of those positions that are curious. And my curiosity is this. Towson's got all these guys on their roster that have transferred down from bigger schools. We got guys on our roster that have transferred up from smaller schools. Now, maybe they were there.
We're not at that point yet, Mr. Jozwiak.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying. If you wanted problems, I'm giving you the laundry list.
We're taking
I just think,
level here.
hey, are they all fixable? Hey, Wolf, the question is, are the problems that we're experiencing, Obviously, they're magnified a billion times on social media. We got all these knuckleheads that are giving their opinion, and none of them got a right to, because unless you wore the helmet, shut your face. Sorry. You can have your opinion. You're a fan. But when it comes to the game of football, what matters is those guys in the locker room today. Let's go out there, put it together, believe in each other, and get a big step forward. Block out everything else, build the wall. You know, Nealon used to say, circle the wagons, baby, circle the wagons, and let's go, and let's believe in each other. Because you got a lot of people out here. There's only a handful of us that are really, really upset. The majority of us are Mountaineers, and we want our Mountaineers to win, period, end of sentence.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. And I have one question for you. Would you consider yourself a barbarian or a Viking?
Me? Oh, somewhere in my genealogy, I come from the Western Germanic tribes, and I figure my ancestors battled in the gladiator.
Yeah, barbarian. That's all you had to say. Okay, so I have Jordan Leslie here coming on after that defensive performance. They gave up 419 yards, 219 yards in the passing game, and 200 yards against the run. Boy, I can see Mike Collins just grimacing about 200 yards in the run. Here's Jordan Leslie.
Of triple option football in different formations with different motions and shifts. There's a personnel in there that we haven't seen. They showed really probably 5 to 6 plays total the week before. And you do a little foresight into what you may get. You don't try to go too far to where you chase the ghost. I mean, it's formations, play sets, and things that we did not adjust very well to. And I say we as in me.
Okay, so I see some facial expressions. I'm going to go with this. First thing is, he said that it's on himself. Okay, he does. But there's a lot of things that was going on. And my breakdown, which I'm going to pump up in the WolfMan's call, or the review, was that they just outsmoked us in a game plan. They really did. They outsmoked us, and that we were confused. And I told you this, Bees, I'm going to take this to you first, Bees, is when you are confused on defense, when you hesitate on defense, when you're running a triple option and they're pulling offensive linemen one way and running the triple option the next way. My whole thing was, we got Pat White, we got Steve Slayton, we got Owen Schmitt. They did it to the Mountaineers.
Yeah. But to hear that football is football, regardless. We've seen that offense since the 70s, right? So where is the adjustment on the fly? Because that's what happens. To me, being over there and watching some of the practice, I don't think we have a defense that we can hang our hat on. You know what I mean? It's a lot of play on the fly, man zone concepts, but it's nothing like where we had a structure. We knew we were a fire zone or we were bringing the dogs. We knew exactly what we were doing. And that's how I got interceptions, because I knew there wasn't going to be any time. I knew our defensive front was going to do their job. So I could be more aggressive as I learned the game a little more. And for that little bit of verbiage that we heard, I feel like that's a cop-out. Come on, man, make the adjustments. Why are we make the adjustments during the game? You're going to see things that you've never seen. But if we have a base and a foundation, I feel like we are a lot more structured. I don't think we're structured enough on D, because we were talking about it earlier, losing contain. I mean, you're seeing little things every game that everybody else plays the same teams. Why can't we contain them? Because
I agree with you.
Tennessee contained Slovis, didn't they? They played football just like us.
Yeah, but Tennessee did a pop pass to the tight end for a touchdown as well. Because we don't use that's a different subject. Never mind. Okay,
a tight end. What's a tight end? What is a tight end? What is a tight end around here?
All right, let's get back to Jordan Leslie. I don't know where Jozwiak went to. I think I heard him coughing up a doohicker. It says there he is. But Gene, what is your take, man, on what Jordan Leslie just said? it doesn't matter if you're offense, defense, special teams. You know coach speak. You know what they're saying. What are you getting out of that? What's your jive, man?
Wolf, check this out, man. Look, I'm not, we played together, brother. What you see is what you get, right? Football IQ. I don't buy none of that. Football IQ is real simple. We are getting out-coached when it comes to the fundamental parts of football. Point blank, period. Don't give me, because if you're the coach and that's what you're saying, then what are you giving the players? What are you giving the players? If that's what you're saying, we're looking at you. You're the coach. So if you're telling me I got something up here and I don't know what the hell that is, oh, whoa, wait, time out. We got a problem. Houston, we got a problem. I don't do well with that type of stuff. Listen, let's call it what it is. If you're getting out coached in fundamental football, I don't care who you're playing against or what level, Pop Warner, middle school, high school, college, pro. If you're getting out coached and you don't give your guys and put them in the best position to win, you're not going to win many football games. Point blank, period. Don't get me wrong, I love our staff. I'm not an advocate of people screaming, oh, fire this one, fire that one. We've never been a school that have done that. If you think about it, when has West Virginia ever fired a coach in midseason? Doesn't happen, right? I respect that. However, I don't respect the excuses of I don't know what we're seeing, which means we're not making the adjustments, which means we lose. Nah, I can't accept that. So sorry.
Mike, what do you think?
To play the triple option, it's assignment football. And teach assignment, then you can't play triple option football. And so, and then here's the other thing he said. They gave us 5 or 6 plays. We can't be chasing ghosts. But you also got to be prepared. What's on the staff? They have guys who look at film. They have guys who can check out and see what they're going to do offensively. And 6 plays from the first game, and you didn't look at the previous season. Come on, man. Come on. That's and it goes back to what Gene's saying. Man, it's out. We got out coached. That's plain and simple. I hate to, don't want to call what it is, but I mean, call guys out. And Wolf, you asked me before the pick game. We got all these new guys in secondary. What we got just got to earn his money. And how about this? These assistant coaches are making 6 figures, right? So there's expectations. And so I don't give a damn. I'm telling you, I don't care here. Earn your money. Coach these kids up. I don't want to, it's, so I'm going to calm down.
Well, very good. Now, Brian, I'm going to ask you this, Joes, and we're going to try to leave the barbarian response out to this one because you can't charge on the walls because you got to actually use technique and alignment and know what that opponent is doing to you, just like you had to do against Bruce Schmitt against Virginia Tech, the greatest pass rusher in the NFL of all time by numbers that you shut down. So when they tell you that you don't know what's going on or you're not prepared, what does that mean to you?
Well, first of all, let me say this. We shut Bruce Schmitt down. We hit Bruce Schmitt with everything we had. I hit him. Rob Bennett hit him. Ron Wolfley hit him. We cut him. We cut him on the backside. So it just wasn't me, brother. It was a lot of help from my brothers to neutralize a guy like that.
I was just trying to help you out.
Well, that's preparation. That's preparation and scheme. And now we're back to what you guys are talking about with coaches and getting out coached. Preparation and scheme and how you manage and handle different situations, whether it be a particular personnel grouping or a particular individual or an entire scheme package, i.e. option football. You got to be prepped for that. You got to work on it in practice. You got to drill it, and you got to cover every possibility. You can't be shocked. And if you are shocked, then you can isolate that quickly on a sideline and make the adjustment. But you got to prepare for every scenario, every situation. It ain't just about going out there and catching footballs. I can go out and catch footballs. But when you're running routes against defenses and you're putting people in positions, you're preparing to win. And a guy like Bruce Schmitt, if you don't do your homework If you don't prep, if you don't study, if you don't understand what he's going to do in different situations, then it's going to be a long day. And we've proven that. We're 0-2. It's been a long day. And most of the mistakes we've made are yeah, okay, we've gotten beat. But if I get beat because of my pursuit angle, that's coaching. That's a drill. We drill that. I can fix that. And we're letting guys just run around and do their own thing. Let me tell you something, man. Football's a dictatorship. It ain't about what you want to do. I don't care what you want to do. This is how we're going to do it to make it happen. That's my opinion, man. You can't listen to 50 different people. Anything with more than one head's a monster. All right.
Okay. Yeah, excellent. In the 1980s, 1990s, and 2000s, that before the 2015 year, that was excellent, excellent philosophy. But now you're in the transfer portal. Now you got this NIL. You got all these other influences. So when you say that, you know what, I want that outside contain that we were talking amongst all of us here earlier, you let that outside contain going on. And Johnny Dew is saying, well, you know what, if I don't, then Johnny Dew is going to go to somewhere else. Okay, so when you're saying about preparation and demanding all this stuff, what is the other side of that now where he's at? Because you got to look at both sides, man. And there's no doubt. And I'm not here defending. I'm just telling you the reality of the situation is if you tell Johnny Dew that Johnny can't, and then Johnny Dew goes somewhere else, how do you deal with that? Go ahead, Gene. I'm going to start off with you.
Let me tell you something, Wolf. Listen, then Johnny Dew need to be Johnny out. This is the free agency of where we are in big-time college sports, right? Either you want to be here or you don't want to be here. I don't care. Look, so the transfer portal giveth and the transfer portal taketh, right? There's enough kids around, if this is where we are, and this is exactly where we are in today's sports, where Johnny Dew, there's a lot of Johnny Dews that are someplace else that want to come and be part of what we're doing. The key is, in that locker room, the cohesiveness of what you have, you got to have everybody going in the same direction, period. Now, if you don't do that, why is it all the other programs that are doing that, they're winning because they have a system in place where Johnny Do, Johnny Can't, Johnny Will, Johnny Missed, all of that stuff, all those Johnnies, first name Johnny, are working together collaboratively. We don't have that. We have to get that. So that's always been my stance. You come to Morgantown, I'm a firm believer of this, Wolf, and everybody here, Bees, we know West Virginia is a special place. You can't. That's the first thing. So when you come and you visit our beautiful campus, our great university, you better really want to be here to wear this. If not, go someplace else. To me, that's where it starts.
All right. Hey, Mike Collins, listen, I understand that. And Gene's got some great philosophy. And that's a wonderful way to go ahead about coaching. But the reality is, if you're a head coach, you're making $4 million a year and you're trying to win, and all of a sudden you have a secondary. Does that sound familiar? A secondary that you have to go out and replenish because you want to win and you're going into your fourth season. Go ahead.
Well, that's coaching. The aspect is a part of the coaching. And that's why I keep going back to our top four corners. That should not happen in a Power 5 Division I program. It should, I mean, we should have guys coming up in our recruiting, the guys that we developed. We shouldn't have to go out to the transfer portal for corners. That shouldn't happen in our program, and that's a deficiency in coaching. We had a kid last year, Nick Troy Fortune, starting. He gets hurt. Transfer portal. He's at UTSA playing. We have another kid who's a star in Miami. He's not now. He's not playing. So, but why? Those two guys, high-level players that we should have on team right now. And I'm gonna tell you right now, the relationships and that roster management, it goes. I mean, you have to have the relationship with these kids on and off the field, and if they have some issues, be able. But having just constant and consistent turnover, this happens with programs that are constantly turning the coaches that have issues. Well, now we're seeing that internally. If you're constantly churning and rotating players in and out, you have no cohesiveness, and it doesn't work. It really doesn't work. And again, I'm gonna go back. That's coach. I don't know.
All right.
It might be that position coach.
Well,
But
no, that's
the buck stops.
that's. Yes, it does. I agree with you, Mikey. There's no doubt. And Joe's, why don't you just go ahead and continue on what you think? Because I want to get the bees there, and then we're gonna have to take a break. But I want to make sure that when you have the ability to say you got to stay here, you got to be containment, or you got to fill the B gap, or you have to go block here, you have to go block there, and Johnny Do saying he's Johnny out and threatening to go ahead and leave. What do you do?
Bye. Here's your bus ticket. Get out. Because if you don't want to be here, we can't use you. The bottom line is creating that environment, that culture where we're in the moment. We're always going to lose and gain with the transfer portal. The object is to limit the number of guys that are transferring out. Why are you transferring out? If you really don't want to be here, go. But it can't be an exodus. You can't replace 50 guys, although Towson kind of did it, didn't they? All right. My point is that you want to create an environment that guys want to be there and they want to stay. And if one wants to leave every now and then, that's fine. We can fix that. But you can't constantly be turning 15, 20 guys over from your starting roster every year. You're never gonna gain any ground.
Yep. Bees, now that could come from what? B, trying to figure out this culture, because honestly, there are real problems, and it's not just West Virginia. You see this everywhere of the transfer portal. You see COVID came in, threw back teams, threw them off. And again, I'm not signaling West Virginia out as being special because it affected everybody. But you had all the things that he came under the situation as a new coach. Is he getting any slack, or is it, like time is like, you got to have your culture with you. You got to be there now. What is it, Bees?
Well, I think a lot of it is trying to coddle these players too much. Like you said, like guys, they want to leave and they don't want to earn their stuff. You know what I mean? So and that's the thing, me being at practice, I got to see how this works, because it's like as a secondary, the first group was always together. So we worked first, secondary, second, secondary, third, you know what I mean? So when I saw how they practice and how they're trying to give guys reps so they don't leave, now you don't have any continuity with your secondary. So you got a blue team and a gold team that's mixed with some starters. So instead of your first team as a defense out there, like a cohesive group, you got guys coming in that didn't practice together for the whole camp. So now how do you play together as a team? And I think I saw it and I understand it because players are leaving. And I think what Mike said, that comes with coaching. If you got a good coach, players aren't going to leave because they want to get coached up. Like how many defensive back coaches have we had that use West Virginia as a stepping stone to go further their career? Because over the last 10 to 15 years, we probably had 8 to 9 defensive back coaches. So think about that alone when you got programs that like Ohio State's and the LSU's, the D-back coach been there for 20 years, and what happens? These guys are going to the league. Because what's the number one motivation for all football players? Play in the NFL. And if we're not sending guys are going to leave because they're not getting coached. I mean, hey, our position, defensive back, is a skill position. You can't have some kindergarten teacher come out there coach. This is a art form out there. So if you got guys who haven't played, and if you got like our whole secondary was together in meetings as well. So if you got a safety room and then you got a corner room, how can we talk and see the same things together? How can I say, yo, safety, you see that? Yo, if I see this, like Charles Manuel, me and Charles were on the same page all the time because we watched film together. We sat next to each other watching meetings, and it was just like we were brothers out there. And it's like if you don't have that same kind of continuity, that's what's going to happen. Because even in that first pick game, didn't you see a lot of guys in the same area in their zones? And we missed tackles because there's 3 guys. We got 3 guys in one zone, and we still miss a tackle. That's not playing together. That's like being on a different page. So I think we gotta try to find a way to get some coaches in here that teach.
But I love you, man. You know what? I can look at you and just laugh.
Bro.
You make me smile.
I got that fire because I was down here and I was working with these DBs, and like, you know me, man, I still do the drills with them, and they were loving it. But then it was like, they started camp, and I couldn't even talk to them anymore. I'm like, man, this is crazy. So,
I hear you, man. Well, listen, okay, so I think we covered everything we needed to cover on the defensive side here, and we're going to go to commercial now. But, to everybody who's out there right now, if you could go ahead and share on your Facebook, share on your Twitter, share on your YouTube, let everybody know, because we're here, man. This is the Mountaineer Legends pregame, and we're going live, and this is some great stuff you don't hear anywhere else. Okay, this is great stuff you don't hear anywhere else. Why? I don't know why Mountaineer Nation isn't just tuned in right now, because doggone it, they should be. And by the time we get through the season, they will be. But again, let's go ahead. Parmar Stores, we love you, man. Parmar Stores. Listen, if there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon. They are in 5 states, and they love the Mountaineer Legends pregame. Roll it!
Hi, my name is Wyatt Milam, and I'm from Canova, West Virginia. When I'm back home in Canova, you will find me at my local Parmar store.
We had that golden boot pride at Parmar. There are literally hundreds of Parmar stores in West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and even more on the way. Download the Parmar app to save even more. And whether it's food, gas, groceries, or whatever, we have you covered at Parmar. West Virginia proud and ready to serve you.
And if there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
All he does is catch the football. That is beautiful. That's why I came to West Virginia, man.
Ding dong, the witch is dead in Arizona.
It's a totally energized Heinz Field, the power of the Renegade song.
The backyard brawl, man. Gets hit. Look at that. Oh, there's Wolfley.
Wow! They came after Donovan McNabb, went after him, they played to win the game.
Everybody's going bonkers, even the referees.
Oh, those look like the sticky gloves right there. We talk about 50-50. Right now it's 50-50. Who's going to get it?
Game came with cover 0, man across the board.
Pick up a flag because, hey, and with the Renegade song, these flags don't count.
They're going to get Italian army behind right there, just like Franklin Harris.
My goodness, that is pure guts.
Give me a pepperoni roll, man. Okay, now I have to apologize because I hit the wrong video. But the 3 Wolves of Football, the podcast first came out yesterday or 2 days ago, Thursday. It was the 3 Wolves of Football. We've had some great reviews. You got Craig Wolfley, the Steelers radio color analyst. You got Ron Wolfley, Arizona Cardinals color analyst, and you got myself. So you got my 2 brothers and me, and it was a lot of fun. So well, you know what? I'm not sorry. Hey
Wolf.
On podbean.com, and I'm proud of it because first time my brothers and I have had an opportunity to work together.
Hey, Wolf, I got the block for Ron. And to be in a huddle with your brother was one of the most intense things I've ever experienced. If I needed a little juice, all I had to do was look in that guy's eyes, and he'd give me exactly what I needed for that moment. And I'd like to think I did the same for him, man. We had a great relationship in them huddles. I love Ronnie, man. What a great player. What a great player. Very intense. Love him. I'm glad to see you guys are doing it. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Joe's. And, Ronnie feels the same way about you. I'd be obligated to say that, but I'm not lying. I'm not, because he loves you. Am I the only one that thinks that funny? Okay, never mind. Anyways, so here we are, Mountaineer Legends pregame, and it's brought to us by Parmar Stores and Tap House and Artisan Grange Company, the Switch to Hemp, Just a Dip, because that's where it's at. So once again, I'm thrilled to be here with Brian Jozwiak. Joe's, what years did you play here?
I got here in 1981. I was part of that first real total recruiting class of the Coach Nealon era, and played till 85. Eligibility ran out, and then I got to go play a couple years with the Chiefs, and then came back to school, got my degree, and just retired out of a 30-year teaching and coaching career. So, but it all started in Morgantown, baby. It all started in Morgantown.
Very good, Mike Collins. Good to be here, and what are you doing now?
I was there. I graduated high school 89 through 93. Started 90 to 93. Played. Gene was a senior, my and then I played with you for 2 years because you were Wolf with the 89 and the 90 team. So.
No doubt. All right, now I'm going to go up to Mr. Beasley. Who I got to tell you, I was a graduate assistant coach, I think, at his time. And this cat right here that you're watching, the only thing that's changed is there's a little gray in his beard, a little bit of gray. But this is the same guy that I knew way back in 1993. I want to say my first year, 93. The same guy, Beasley. You've been that way all along, man. Tell us what years you played here, and what you're doing.
I got there 92. I played 92, 93, 94, 95. Played as a true freshman, didn't know what the hell I was doing. I really didn't. Hey, because the funny thing, I just talked to a friend of mine, and I went to Valley Forge Military Academy for a year. I was really all in on basketball. I didn't even care about football. I just played because it was a hobby, because my boys played. And a good friend of mine who actually played for the Florida Gators when we played them in the Sugar Bowl, he actually taught me how to play football, and I always give him credit. His name is Lawrence Wright. Remember, he ran the touchdown back on us. So it was funny. He taught me all about football. I was like, he came from Miami. He was the #1 safety in the country. And next thing you know, I'm like following him, like, yo, that's how y'all play football down there? I was like, in my little small town, man, it was all basketball. And, it was a blessing to get a chance to, just make it, I do have one claim of fame. Can I tell you one claim of fame?
Oh, you can tell me any claim of fame.
So Dr. J, his son, comes to a school in Pottstown, the Hill School, prep school. Everybody was hating on him. There's haters everywhere. Me and him became real good friends. So I go down to Dr. J's house. I'm sitting up in that room with all his retirement, the rocket chair and all that. And it's funny you say that because the same energy, he was like, bro, who are you? Because you're like the life of the party. And he was like, what are you going to do in life? And I told him straight up, right there in his room, I said, I'm going to the NFL. In high school, I told him that. And I made it happen. You know what I mean? And then I end up going to the Jaguars. He works for the Magic, and he sees me, and he's like, Beasley, you made it, man. I'm like, he remembered me. So that was pretty cool.
Well, you know what? And it's so true. And watching you was so much fun because I did have the opportunity to be there in the program coaching, even though it was on the other side of the ball. Really cool. And let's move out here to Eugene Napoleon. I got in trouble because I've been calling you Gene since 1987. And I said, hey, Gene, what's up, man? And all of a sudden, things went bad. And telling me his name is Eugene. And so I'm saying it right now. That's Gene to me. Because that's my brother, man, and that's who he is. So, anyways, Gene, tell us Because you got interesting. You started out at Pitt, man. So what's your story, bro?
Started off at Pitt in '85. Don't y'all hang up. Don't y'all jump off the line. Started my collegiate career at Pittsburgh in '85. Transferred to WVU in '86. Had to sit out that year. So I was there '86, '87, '88, and '89. And again, fond and beautiful memories, man. So playing with you, of course, Wolf, you block for me because you won't let me live that down.
Oh, I never.
But I had some great times there, man. And now I'm embarking on, this is my 25th year teaching special ed kids in the Linden School District. And I'm the CEO and president of my own record label for the last 27 years, Nap Vision Entertainment. So between those two things, and as you know, my son Brandon, he's the corners coach at Sacred Heart University. So just watching all of that, and it's been a great thing, and I thank God for it.
Excellent. Don't forget about your wife, man. I mean, she might be more popular than you.
Well, let me tell you. Well, she is. My wife is a Grammy-considered 3-time platinum recording artist, gold-selling recording artist, 27 years in the game, 17 number one hit records. If you look behind me, you see the plaques, gold and platinum plaques up there. So, yeah. No, you're right. She probably is more popular than I am. At least, yeah, you are, honey.
He's like, you're darn right I am. Hey, I don't see any plaques on the wall for you, platinum. Very good. Now, right before we move on here to the offense, okay? This is somebody here says, I like this format. Can you guys all read this right here? Feels much more personal, like I'm sitting at my kitchen table with all of you legendary players. Do you see that? Can you read it?
That's beautiful.
Yeah, you know who that is? That's my mother.
That's your mom?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Hello, Mom.
Oh, Mrs. Wolfley. What the heck? Oh, my
Yes.
God.
Blessings, Miss Wolf. Blessings.
She's a bit of a homer. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're going to listen to Graham Harrell, the offensive coordinator, who's, his first 2 games as a Mountaineer OC. He's doing some good things. Let's hear what he has to say.
There's always room for improvement, but we've shown flashes of doing some really good things, like we expected. I think the O-line's played at a high level. Like I said, since I've been here, that we have we have a group of guys that played a lot of football games, and in that position that matters, especially played a lot of football games together. And so, the other night, I thought the protection was really, really good. I think they got pressure on JT just once or twice, probably the whole night, and when that's the case, it makes things a lot easier as a quarterback. I know that. I thought the JT showed some really good toughness week 1, took some shots, stayed in there like I talked about. But the other night, they kept him really clean. And like I said, it just makes your job a whole lot easier. I think, the receivers played at a higher level the other night as well.
Okay, so, Eugene, I'm going to come to you on this here. But listening to Graham Harrell, listening to this guy who, 31 points against Pitt. There was a block punt in there that, they got to be able to score, but that's just part of the game. Still scored the points, 52 to 44, 52 to 44. Yeah. 44 points against Kansas and a solid Kansas team. And they had 4 drives where they scored touchdowns. They went up by 14, I think twice, and they still did not do it when it counted. Bees, I think you alluded to this, but we're going to go with Gene here on this. But you alluded to, you can't have those penalties down in the red zone. Or maybe that was you, Joes. But, Gene, what is your take on this offense? They're 0-2, but they've really showed some signs of really good ability to score points and be a fun offense. Fun to watch.
Absolutely. No, I'm enjoying what we're doing on the offensive side of the ball to a certain extent. I just wish, I know the coaching staff, they tout the offensive line and, how good the offensive line is and how well they work together. My thing is, I wish is more consistent up front. When you get into 4th and 1 situations and 3rd and 2 situations, listen, man, you have to extend the play. You have to extend that drive. You have to punch, if it's 1 yard, 2 yards, whatever the case may be. I wish we become a little bit more stronger in the ability to say we can get 1 yard on 4th and 1. For me, I like what we're doing. I think if you score 28 to 35 points in a football game consistently, you should win that game. Honestly, you should win that game. So we've shown that we can do that. Okay, we have. The other parts of that in the construct of what we're doing offensively. Hopefully, we get to a point where we're more confident in those gray areas. Don't go off sides. Hold your water. When we need this stuff. Again, that's discipline. And again, that comes from our staff, that comes from the coaching. It's from top down. In order to change this thing around, I think we all will agree with this. We have to play more consistent and with more urgency offensively, defensively, and special teams. But our offense has to continue to put up points. If we're going to turn this around, we have to continue to be as consistent as we have been the two games, but then make the adjustments when it's, like I said, late in the game, 4th and 1, 3rd and short. We got to continue to get those important downs to extend, our offense moving forward and continue to be a little bit more consistent. If we do that, I think we're going to be okay, Wolf. I really do.
Critical situations is what I'm getting out of you.
Right? No, absolutely. We don't do well in critical situations when we have to get it.
Beasley, what do you think, man?
I love what we see so far. I mean, we finally have a quarterback after 3 years.
355
we have
yards,
a real
right?
quarterback. And you can see the throw. I saw some of the throws at practice. I'm like, man, this guy is the real deal. And that's the thing. Like, even though I'm a defensive back, I play Madden and I do my fantasy draft. I make sure my O-line is always the best. That is the most important part of every team. And they control the whole game. Either side. You can say the defensive line, but if your offensive line is a dominating force, you can do whatever you want on offense. And I feel like I kind of want to go back to that pick game because me and Joz talked about it. We're like, man, show the confidence in your offensive line. Let's go for this 4th and inches. Because, okay, I say we can say, oh, I trust my defense. Well, we got this offensive line. We got an All-American center. Let's trust our line and go for this. But that's another day. But I just feel like what Graham does, he opens it up. I don't feel like we're some kind of just one-dimensional offense. I feel like we have so much versatility, and he uses all our weapons. I don't think you can really key on anyone, but maybe Bryce. I know they favor Bryce in the ball, but as far as the routes, I mean, it's a very tricky offense.
Yeah, if you want to go on that, Bees, you look at 11 receptions for BFW there, right? And 9 in a pick game. So 20, he's number 2 in the country in receptions after the first 2 games. Number 3 in scoring touchdowns with his 4. But, then you go ahead and you say, hey, KP, Caden Prather, he had 6 receptions for 79 yards. And then Sam James, 4 receptions for 91 yards. So, again, it's not just Bryce, although he is getting the heavy out, and we'll talk about it. But Joe's, I know that B's saying, and I started laughing because and it took me 10 seconds to realize what he just said, but he says that when he plays Madden, he goes for the offensive line first.
Hey,
no,
O-line wins games.
No, and I know that's what you always say at after every comment. When I say boom, all you say instead of boom, you say offensive line wins games. And that's that's your trademark.
Hey, all the years that I coached in high school and college, when the offensive line, anytime we got together in practice, that was our mantra when we broke to get water. O-line wins games. And when you truly, honest to God, believe that, those 5 guys, Bees was talking about the DBs working as a unit. Let me tell you something. If an offensive line doesn't work as a unit, we got problems, Houston. All right. And that's where, I believe we do have a very strong offensive line. And it's proven out in how we're playing offense, man. We're averaging 4.7 yards a carry. We're throwing the ball for almost 300 yards a game. We're playing good enough offense to win, except for like Gene said, when we get to those places in critical moments, we're making critical errors, whether it be a coaching decision or whether it be a performance error or whether it be a concentration error where we jump off sides down in the red zone, or we're on, third and short, and we jump off sides, and now we're creating problems within. And those are mental busters, man. That really turns down the momentum a little bit when you make those critical mistakes. And, you pointed out, for Wheaton, man, God bless him, 20 catches, number 2 in the nation, but we can go back to that one critical error, the tip ball, pick 6. That was a big change. And we're making those errors in the wrong moments. And when we fix those, man, we're going to be deadly. I mean, and we are. We're proving that right now. But, hey, 2 things. Number 1, the best defense is a great offense. So if we're going to have problems defensively, then we need to hold on to the ball and we need to score points, because now what we got to do is outscore our opponent. All right. And number 2, we got to get better defensively. I mean, simple as that. We just got to stop people. If we can't stop the bleeding, you can't score enough points. So, we all know what this is. It's pretty simple. We got to improve defensively, but we need to keep building on what we're doing offensively and stop shooting ourselves in the foot in critical situations.
All right. Well, you're pretty tough there in BFW, buddy. I just wanted to say that. You know what? You are the Joes, man. So that makes a lot of sense. Mike, you keep coming. I don't know. He's not ghosting us. He's having some issues there. Reception. Can you hear us? Mike? Hello? All right. Okay, we're just going to look at him driving along here, I think.
He's sexy.
We're going to move on, and the next thing I'm going to show you is this. Because, Mike Collins, Mike, number 25, with a big C on his shoulder pad, but you couldn't really see the C because the shoulder pads were so big, they got lost, a captain on his shoulder pads. But the shoulder pads, I'll tell you what a player. And I don't know if he's checking himself out or what, but he looks funny here. Here's Graham Harrell talking about Bryce Ford Wheaton, because, the reality is when you go ahead and you drop a ball and it's a pick 6 and you lose the game, really, because of it, even though the Mountaineers had opportunities to come back, it's got to be tough. And again, he's playing under the guise of he has an uncle and a grandpa that are really good for Mountaineers. Legends. I know from my brothers what it's like to have that pressure being put on you to have to perform when there's been others in front of you. You could go to Stills and you could go to all that saying that. So again, let's listen to Graham Harrell here talk about BFW.
Since I've been here, Bryce has worked really hard. You know what I mean? And I think that's and I think you're seeing that on the field. And last week he may have worked, he was in here as much as anyone, spent a ton of time in here, caught a ton of extra balls, and it showed up on Saturday. But and so I think a lot of the credit belongs to Bryce, just for the way he handled it, the way he showed up, the way he continued to work. But I think all week what we tried to do as a coaching staff was point out how well Bryce played. And it's going to be remembered, the one that they got the pick on from Pitt was the one that people were going to remember from that game. But showing him all the good stuff they did and said, this is who he is. The ball bouncing off his face was just an unlucky bounce. Who he really is the guy that made all the tough catches, making tested catches, caught 2 touchdowns. And we tried to really drive that home. That's who you are, and that's what you've worked to be, and that's what you're going to be moving forward.
I have said from the very beginning of watching him in person at practices that Bryce Ford Wheaton can be as good as he wants to be. And I think he's entering that zone right now where he's saying, you know what? I'm bigger than you, DB. I'm usually tall. I'm faster than you. I can be more physical than you. And I can make plays. And 20 receptions in the first 2 games, I think he's proving it out. So I'm really happy for him. Let's talk about this, Eugene. Bryce Ford Wheaton going ahead. It's who he really is. He could have gone somewhere else with that. Could have let it get in his head that missed pick. Okay, hit him in the helmet, hit the DB, touchdown, Pitt wins. Could really affect somebody, but he didn't. And that speaks volumes of who Bryce Ford Wheaton is.
Absolutely. I think he's a stud. I really do. I think he's in my humble opinion, one of the best receivers in the country in this young football season. And he's proven that. What I love about him, which is interesting, people talk about that one critical error. Here's the catch-22 to that. if he didn't play the way he played earlier in the game, we wouldn't even have been in the game. He balled out. I mean, and check this. When you're playing a game like that, backyard brawl, national boob tube, everybody's tuning in to check you out, and you answer the bell like that, he balled. He straight balled. That one missed play is not the reason we lost the freaking game. Had he not played the way he did, like I said earlier, we wouldn't have been where we were at that point in the game. So now I have nothing but respect for him. I have nothing but respect for his work ethic and where he is up. He's a strong kid mentally, and you can see that. So as long as he continues to progress during the season, along with the other receivers, we're going to be, I believe we're going to be better than what we think right now. And of course, 0-2, we're upset with that. But if that young man continues to progress, we're going to see something special. He's special. He really is.
Mm-hmm. Joe's.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it sucks that one play. It does. It really sucks. But like Gene said, we wouldn't have been in that situation had he not played. And the bottom line is what happens next. And he followed up with a heck of a performance against Kansas. I mean, come on, man. He's number 2 in the nation. He overcame that. You know, if you're going to be a great player, you got to have short-term memory, but you certainly have to learn from your critical mistakes and work your butt off to not let those interfere with your next moment of performance. And he's done a great job with that. I mean, he's a thoroughbred, but he's got great genetics, man. I mean, he's got football in his blood like all of us do. And that's what makes him so special, because he's got I'm certain that he probably has a group of inner circle folks that are in his corner no matter what. And they're giving him that support that he needs. And that's important, to have that close circle of folks that are going to be your go-to people and supporting you. And he's got that around him. And he's special. I love watching the kid play. And thank God we got a quarterback that can get him the ball.
Yep, absolutely. Bees, DB quarterback, you see BFW. And what are your thoughts and knowing about what his ability is? I think maybe a year or two, maybe a year ago, well, 2 years, that this would have happened. It could have had it been, he could have gone somewhere else with it. Not sure if he was mentally grown up enough that where I think he is right now. I think he's in a really good place mentally, but I think that he's taken this and excelled when he could have gone south. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, like you said, I mean, he got football in his blood. And that's the thing. We all go through setbacks, and that's part of the game. It's how you come out of it. You know, football is almost like a game of life. You know, every day, every play, you put 100% into it, and then you look for the results after the fact. But I think he's a physical specimen. I mean, the dude's 6'4", like 225. I mean, that's what you look for at the next level with these guys. And like watching him when I was at practice, he's tough to read. Like as a defensive back, like some guys are so fast that they have to like sit and sink their hips, and this guy is so silky smooth, man. That's why I see when I watch him, he's hard to get a read on when he runs his routes. And that's what you want. You know, you can always, you got to think, the best receiver was what, a 4'6", 4'7" guy, because all of his routes look the same. And that's what I see with Bryce. His routes are crisp, and that's next level stuff. And I feel like with what he's done, I mean, we're all going to have setbacks. Like, shoot, I got beat. Remember the Pitt game? I got beat, gave up 200 yards. I didn't care. I'm going to give you a pick.
I sure do.
Look, first play of the second half, I gave up an 80-yard touchdown. First play. Oh, bro. I did not quit, though, man. Hey, you know why? I'm going to tell you the secret to that game. I missed breakfast that game. I only had a power bar. Hey, Coach Ramsey looked at me so mean. I was like, man, Coach, I'm sorry.
But and when he looked at you and he was mad at you, you were sorry.
Oh, I was. Hey, he was about to sit me for a play. I was like, damn, Coach. But the thing is, with Bryce, man, that's fight. You know what I mean? That's what you look for in a great player. He's fighting. He's fought back, and it's a good thing to see.
Yep.
Oh, excellent. Now, listen, we got one more break to go to. I got to get Parmar in and some tap house in. But I want to talk offensive lineman return, a little bit about JT Daniels, and we'll finish it up here. Yeah, Joe, that's a little red meat for you to put on a necklace and hang it from you. So a little bit of chomping meat for you, Brian Jozwiak. But hey, there we go. Parmar Stores and the tap house. I think this time I'm correct.
Hi, I'm Casey Legg, and I'm from Charleston, West Virginia. And when I'm back home in Charleston, you will find me at my local Parmar store.
We had that golden boot pride at Parmar. There are literally hundreds of Parmar stores in West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and even more on the way. Download the Parmar app to save even more. And whether it's food, gas, groceries, or whatever, we have you covered at Parmar. West Virginia proud and ready to serve you.
If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
Where do the true gold and blue faithful go for the best in beer, burgers, pizza, wings, and more? It's the Mountaineer Tap House on the Evansdale campus. Mountaineer Tap House features well over 40 craft beers on tap, plus the best appetizers, salads, burgers, wings, pizza, and tacos the University City has to offer. Enjoy their exclusive craft cocktails too. Dine on the balcony or chill out inside with walls and walls of TVs. Follow Mountaineer Tap House on social media. Mountaineer Tap House, second floor above the Parmar store on the Evansdale campus.
Okay, excellent. All right, Eugene. So since you're the only one standing there, but I was going to talk about you anyways, let's talk about what you're doing now because you're so viable across and to get to easy to get to across social media now, and always promoting what being a strong Mountaineer is. But I think that's what I love the most about you, what you're doing your work now. You have a couple shows, so go ahead and tell us what you're doing so I can load up the Zach Frazier film and you can fill some time for us. And you can promote and brand yourself, brother.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, I'm blessed to be on the College Game Day show with Skylar Callahan, man, and I'm really happy about that. The spinoff of that is Relatively Sports. You know, with Eugene Napolean, which I bring on each week. We bring on different guests, and it's sports related, but it's actually impactful because we talk about different topics through sports, and you learn. Life to me is all about you're learning through the game of football, basketball, whatever the sport may be. So that's a cool thing. And then, of course, on Wednesday nights, I have Napoleon's Corner, which is just a motivational piece that I do. No more than 10 minutes. It's little small segments. You know, I'm not sure if a lot of people know this, but I'm a 2-time best-selling author as well. So I'm pulling a lot of information from the books that I wrote and just from life experiences, man. It's been a good ride, and I appreciate that. So as you said, Wolf, one of the biggest reasons, I know the fans may know this, but I'll cut it short and I'll say this. When I transferred to West Virginia, I really needed a change of scenery. You know, my older sister died my freshman year at Pitt. She had a brain aneurysm, 36 years old. And it was so tough for me. So I took 5 more visits or whatever. And when I got to Morgantown, Coach Nealon sat me down and said, listen, he reminded me of my high school coach. He said, you're going to be a human being far longer than you're going to be a football player. So the most important thing about this move is this has to be the right fit for you. And, you know, we are a family here. So we know what you need. You understand? And my mom absolutely fell in love with Don Nealon because of that. I went to WVU not just because of football. It was what I needed. So that's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate, and I love what that university gave me the opportunity to become after my sister's death, because I was a wreck. When she passed, I was done. So it was so much more bigger than football for me, that decision. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I love WVU and the state of West Virginia and the fans. That's one of the biggest reasons why.
Excellent. Now we know why you're a motivational speaker. All right. And very good at it. So thank you very much for that. And we're going to move ahead and we're going to talk about that offensive line. Now, we talked about some critical mistakes here. Here's Zach Frazier, who, you know, really doesn't lose very much in his career. We go to wrestling. He lost one time. Never lost to a West Virginia opponent. You know, in a Fairmont West, Fairmont Senior, they won the state champs, I think, a couple of years. So he really isn't used to losing. And this is his judgment on what's going on with the offensive line and their performance so far.
The last 2 games, we've ran the ball pretty well. but we've also had great running back play of Tony, CJ, Justin, all those guys. They're fun to block for, and even we protected pretty well. But I think JT's done a great job of moving in the pocket, and even when sometimes some of us do get beat, he'll step up, avoid it, make a throw downfield, and make us look good too.
All right, so I think he realizes they haven't arrived, but they're a lot better than what they were. And he sees them coming together. They spent a lot of time in the offseason really honing that offensive line skill. So we're going to talk about the running backs here in a minute, but Joes, let's do a breakdown on this offensive line. Tell me what you're seeing, what's happening, and just your overall impression, man.
Well, first of all, I got to give kudos to Zach Frazier. I got to see him play in high school, and I walked up to the fence, and I was standing at the fence with this guy, and I swear we were only there for like 3 plays, and I was like, man, this kid is special. He's really something else, and to have him anchor in the middle, listening to him talk, he's really hitting the nail on the head. He's given credit where credit is due. The quarterback has saved them numerous times when they've given up some pressure with his wheels moving around and extending the play and making it happen. The running backs are hitting the hole. They're fun to block for. We just the mental stuff, that critical offside. When you jump offsides, that is a momentum strike because you just busted your tail to get those 5 yards, and then you give them back because of a mental error. And I'm not saying that we don't make those mental mistakes. They happen, but we gotta clean that up just a little bit more. I think there's a lot to build on, man. I mean, we're clicking. We're averaging over 4.5 yards a carry, Wolf. That's good football, man. And again, we're giving the quarterback ample time to spread the ball around. He's not just having to get rid of it to throw to a primary. He's able to do some check downs with his feet, move around, let guys get open and make those plays. So, I just think we just need to clean up the mistakes in those critical moments and keep doing what we're doing. We got to have a great game today, aren't we? I mean, we just got to mow Towson into the dirt, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to happen? I don't know. But that's what we
have. Better. What the heck? Yeah. And Bees, you're DB, man, but, football players are football players. Groups are groups. Specialties are specialties. Leaders are leaders. And you were always a leader of the DBs wherever you went. And Zach Frazier's a leader, man. What's your opinion when you listen to this young man?
Well, it's pretty cool. I got a chance to meet him in March at the Walter Camp All-American, and I met him, his family, and it was just like, he's such a humble kid. And it's like, he just loves ball. You know what I mean? And it's like, he doesn't come off as some All-American, or he could act like a cocky dude, but he's just a low-key, cool guy that's focused on ball, man. And I'm not blaming the O-line for anything because, we're putting up all these points, man. I can only go to one side that, of course, okay, we did make some critical errors, but if we're putting up 30 points a game, we should be winning the game. And our O-line, which was a weakness in years past, is now probably our strength, if you think about it, because our O-line is doing it. Like he said it, JT's getting the passes out, and we're not just throwing bubble screens,
Oh,
yeah. we're throwing downfield.
You mean like they used to do with me? They used to do that with me. Hey, Wolf's been there. Throw a bubble screen. Just get rid of the ball.
And that's like it's when you have an offensive line, you can open it up, and that's what I see, man. Our offense is clicking right now. I mean, a couple plays, 1 or 2 plays, and our offense is like rolling. But I just keep doing what we're doing, and hopefully the defense comes around, because the scary part to me is usually the defense is the team that starts the season off, and then the offense gets clicking. We're clicking on offense, and defense, we're just kind of, missing tackles and giving up
Well,
big plays.
It could be a good sign, though.
Yeah. I mean, I love what our O-line is doing, man. It's impressive because where they were getting trashed last year. And now they're out there balling.
Okay. Very good. Now, Gene, because I love Zach Frazier so much, I'm going to play this one little clip, and I want you to talk about that. But this is about, them cleaning it up as a group of the offensive line. And then I want to get into the running backs with you, okay? So hang on. Check this out.
We just got to keep pushing, keep fighting. I think, we're close, obviously. Like, we just got to go a little harder, a little bit more, and I think we'll get there. But, we just got to keep putting our head down and go and work.
Okay, so that's solid leadership right there, Gene. And the kid's so humble. And, asking about him, he's like, I could be so much better. But there's not many that are because, he played as a true freshman. He played center and guard in one game as a freshman, true freshman. I mean, he's done some incredible things at his maturity. So what do you see about that? The offense, we've talked about the critical mistakes, but with a leader like him, with the running backs, just put it all together for us, man.
Sure. No, I love it. I think because the thing to be an effective leader, you have to have the ability to take responsibility for when things go good and bad and be balanced on both sides of the spectrum. And he seems to have that maturity, which is awesome because once again, you have a guy like that's leading your room. It's easy for you to take direction. So I love what the offensive line is doing. Like we all said, minus a few hiccups here and there, it's a potent offense. And when you got backs, our backs, Tony and CJ?
Donaldson, yes.
Oh my God. Listen, those guys are getting it done. They're picking it up and putting it down. You know what I mean? 4+ yards a carry. That's hard to do at this level. I don't know. I don't think people really understand that. Yeah. You average 4.5 yards per carry. That's hard to do. That means up front, your guys are getting it done. They're pushing people around up there to open up those holes, and our backs are hitting them. So I think, again, if we just continue to do that and clean up the little things, and thank God we do have a leader the way that we do in that room that really helps them to prepare them each week, it could be scary if we get on track today, right? It could be scary to see how that offense matures. And then like B said, if the defense catches up, man, listen, look out. Yeah. Look out.
Absolutely. Now, when you look at that rushing attack, let's take a look at this. Now, Tony Mathis, he had 16 rushes, averaging 4 yards per rush. And you had C.J. Donaldson at 13 rushes. That's 4 yards per rush. And I'm talking Kansas game only here. And then you had Justin Johnson Jr., who I call Justin Jump Cut Johnson. He's got a lot of juice in there. He can, he cuts it, jumps, goes. Jump cut, right? So, again, he came in. He put a little bit of a spark in the second half there for the Mountaineers. And not only that, I see those three guys only getting better, but that is 16, that's 29. We're talking 38 rushes to 40 passes. Is that air raid?
It's balanced attack football.
Yeah.
It's balanced attack. Hey, let me tell you something. In the air raid and the run and shoot and all that over the years, and those will tell you, if you don't have a good running game, I don't care how much passing you got in your arsenal, you got a problem. You got to have the up front. You got to be able to move the ball on the ground to truly control the line of scrimmage. And this game is a game of land acquisition, fellas. It's about moving the sticks. It's about, if we can go up top and score, great. But we got to be able to control the line of scrimmage. Ergo, we control the clock, we control field position, we control the game. And if I can pound you inside, then that means that somebody's going to get open in the passing game when it's time to do it. So balanced attack, I love it. I think it's great. I like to see that because you got to have that in order to be special. And this offense has a chance to be really special.
I spent a lot of years with Dana Holgorsen, watching him closely. And the best job he ever did coaching was when he balanced his offense out. And they learned how to run the ball, rush it, and throw effectively. And he went 10-2 and we had Skylar Howard, and we were effective in the Big 12. And I thought that was really a point where he learned how to really use his tools, not just for his scheme, where he learned to use their talents and apply them appropriately to it. So I'm going to say this here because this is a pet peeve. I'm going to take this a little bit off track, but then I'll get back on if you just deal with me. But I'm pissed. Okay? I'm pissed. I think the tight end spot is the most underutilized spot in college football. In the NFL, I see Geno throw 2 times for a touchdown. Geno Smith for Seattle. I'm seeing this. I keep tweeting out, pop pass here, tight end screen here. Okay. We threw it to him one time. We have a guy named Michael Laughlin, who's 6'5", 255. Now, we brought in 4 tight ends that are young guys that are really good. You got Traylon Davis coming in there. You got Victor Wickstrom. I mean, we have some players. We also have some tight ends to leave. Now, I am not going to be here as a critical. I want to see a tight end screen. I want to see a play where the tight end goes down the seam. Did you see that Kansas tight end score a touchdown down the seam?
Yep.
Did you see that? And Neil Brown has done some great shifting emotions in his time that he's been here to move that tight end around, to scheme him up. Why can we not throw to 6'5", 255 dude who is one of the best tight ends in the Big 12 when you feed him? Because he blocks, he sacrifices, he does all the dirty things you ask him to do. And he's a senior this year. He's been hurt a couple times. But regardless, he had 7 catches in 3 games or 4 games last year. Why do we not throw to the tight end? Because that, to me, takes the pressure off of BFW, takes the pressure off of Sam James, because we got medium. We could even go vertical with the seam pass. We could do a tight end screen. They did a split screen. You know, every time, how many times you see that tight end go cross body, the offensive line goes right and the tight end goes left. Because he starts on the right side, goes up. That's called the split zone, okay? Split zone run. Well, right off of that is a screen.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody, so when you go ahead, it's a natural counter to it. It's not a counter, but it's a natural one, being that if I go ahead and zone, split zone, and they keep seeing that tight end cross, well, they get used to that. And then all of a sudden, you duck on out. Okay. Bees, I'm going to start you because you're defense and you don't know squat about offense. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm going to start out with you. Then Joe's and Gene, I'll let you finish up with. I'm sorry. I had to get it out one time why we cannot. And it's not just West Virginia. A lot of it's college football. Yeah. Like I said, not the NFL. Kelsey's not a problem in the NFL. You know, Rob Gronkowski is not a problem. But
they have a tight end. They have a tight end symposium now.
Exactly. There are problems for backers and safeties
because of the matchup problem they create. You know, if you got a guy that can run at 6'5", 250, who are you going to put him on a corner or a linebackers? They can't cover as effective. You know, so I agree with you. Like, to me, a tight end should be a quarterback's best friend because he's the closest receiver to him. Even if we just do like a little first down, 3-yard out, or, you know, just getting him in the game. I like that idea because if we're using more weapons, we have no one that a defense can key on. And you're right. Imagine if we do that play, we haven't done anything with the tight end. They won't even suspect it. We'll be like the defensive coordinator. Oh, I didn't know what I was.
Well, especially when you have a balanced running attack.
Exactly.
Right? When you have running
the ball and play action is how you make the big plays.
That's what I wanted to. You guys are talking about the passing game with the tight ends. You know, me being an O-line guy, you know, 1, 2, 3 tight end sets stress a defense. They stress a defense, especially in today's world where defenses are designed to, you know, stop 4 and 5 wides. Now, all of a sudden, you put some big bodies on the edges and a wing and that kind of, man, you got to put guys that aren't ready to play in the box. You got to put them in the box. And then that opens up that what your guys are talking about, that play action stuff. You know, and the tight end, like a back in the passing game, is the outlet guy. if they jump on him, all of a sudden that big body's running down the seam or just turning in to fill for a blitzing linebacker and jump in that hole and give that quarterback that little quick out. Yeah, man, we got to use him more in the passing game. But I'm one of the guys that believes in what can we do in the box to give that defense trouble. And when you put a tight end in a wing or two tights, man, that changes your defense. It's almost like playing unbalanced. And it gives you, 6'5", 250, that's an offensive lineman. You got another blocker in there up front. So that's where I'm at. I'd love to see us use that package a little bit more, especially the old guy, because he was injured. He's come back from an injury. That guy's so hungry, he can't even see straight. Give him the ball. Give him the ball.
Gene,
hey, Wolf, can I ask, how many targets has that tight end had? Like, how many times has he been targeted?
He had two targets in the Pitt game, and we had one target for the tight end, not him. It was actually Trey in the red zone. So 2 games, it was 4 targets, and 2 to O'Loughlin is the best tight end in the Big 12 receiving, in my opinion. Now, here's the thing, and Gene, I'm coming to you with this, so don't lose your thought, okay? But add this to it. When you think of Georgia, did you see a Georgia tight end that's 6'7", 270?
2 of them. 2 of them.
Okay, but they've always used the tight end in the bootlegs and the play action and pop passing. Well, not so much pop, I guess, but that's a newer play coming in as of late. Came in actually from Kansas State, more the pop pass. But regardless, that's a history. That's a legacy of tight ends. You look at Penn State, they had a legacy of tight ends. You look at Minnesota, they got a legacy of tight ends. What's West Virginia's legacy if you don't throw to a tight end? I mean, we have Anthony Beck. Okay, love it for now. Bulger loves him. Don Nealon loved him. And again, I'm not ripping on any certain thing or a person. I'm not ripping on Neal. What I'm saying is why are we not taking a bona fide, and this is to you, Gene, a bona fide player like Michael O'Loughlin and going ahead and using him, especially in the red zone?
I got to tell you something, Wolf. I'm excited. Wolf is talking that talk today. That coach speak right there. He's talking that talk. I'm fired up about that tight end position. I'm going to be honest with you. I love the tight end. I've always loved the tight end position. And it goes back to the Florida days, the Gator day. I'm not a Florida fan, but you see how they utilize that position to really make their offense go. The tight end position, to me, is one of the most critical positions on the field because of the mismatch opportunities that you get, especially when you have one that can block and then that can also catch and that can run after the catch. I've always felt like the seam route, to me, in the college game should be utilized a lot more. Because think about this. If you got a tight end that can effectively run that seam route and the quarterback that can get it to him, you're talking about you getting it right behind the linebacker, right? Right before the safety. If that cat can catch and run, that's a problem. Who wants to hit 6'5", 245, 250 consistently? It's not going to happen for you. So to everybody's point, I'm hoping that we really start to understand we can utilize our tight ends in this passing game, which will open it up a lot more for the outside guys. And it'll be more effective than you even know. Because on third, if you use your tight end on third and second, downs, you're going to get 4, 5, 6 yards. And with the backs humping and running like they're running, and with the ability to pull that thing, play action, and go up, come on, man. You could take the top off of defense if you utilize a tight end. I don't think people think that, but it's the truth.
There's no doubt, Eugene. And what does it do for recruiting? I mean, what are we going to say? Anthony Beck, we had Trey. I'm drawing a blank. Trey from
Love it, Purnell. Love it, Purnell.
Yes. Oh, I love him. I mean,
Bennett.
Rob, we just saw
That's
it.
back to my era. Mark Rao.
They just put it up there. Rob Bennett. I mean, we have some really strong tight ends. We could go Adrian Moss, Daryl Mitchell, guys that had that talent, because it's odd to have a guy who can block as an offensive lineman and still catch the ball as a wide receiver. And that's what Bees was talking about with the mismatch. Now, I do not want to go ahead and get caught up on this. So I made my point. I won't bring it up again unless we're still not using it games down the road. But I am tired. I want to see it, man. I really do. But I want to move on to Towson just a little bit before we end here. I want to draw up a clip from Neil. So just give me a second here. Joes, go ahead and tell me about what you're thinking about with Towson today before I draw this clip up.
Well, I mean, you're going to battle an animal that's 2-0 right now, that's living large. They're coming into our house. For them, the stage is set. Even if we lose the game, if we go out there and fight and keep it close, that'll be a victory for our program because, they're playing an upper level Power 5 program in a lower division. So, for them, and guess what? You got nothing to lose. They're getting told that. You got nothing to lose. Play your ass off. Let it all hang out. Give it the best that you can, and you got a chance. And for us, we got to squash that like a freaking Florida cockroach. You ain't bringing that into our house. You could take that freaking, what is it called, FCS or F whatever it is. You could take that right back to Baltimore with you in your little buses. And for me, we got to take the air out of their sails. If we let them play, if we let those guys play, even for a couple of quarters, it could be a real pain in the butt for us, right? I mean, if we come out there and just smash them and play Mountaineer football, like you guys been saying, there's a Mountaineer way, and our Mountaineer way is pack your freaking kettle and let's go to work. Put your hard hat on and let's go to work and show those guys what we truly are, a Power 5 football team, and we put it together. Now's the time. You put together all three phases and play one heck of a football game and send them guys right back home where they belong.
I'm sorry, Joe. I should have used you last because
I'm sorry.
That would have been a great ending. No, there's
I don't know if I can top that. He put that.
Yes, you can, Bees. Top that, Bees. You got this, baby.
I want to run through that door right now, but there we go. Neil Brown. This will not be as climatic as
Yeah, so quarterback, Pregame, he's from Clay Chalkville, was starting quarterback in Maryland. He's been at Ole Miss. I think he's been at 3 FBS schools. And so he's a high-end talent, dual threat, very similar to Jalen Daniels. Maybe not as they don't ask him to throw the ball as much as Jalen Daniels did, but he's a dual threat, and they're gonna do a lot of things very similar to the way Kansas did. So we've got to get better, and we've got to get better in a hurry. And if you look at them defensively, a lot of FBS transfers. They've got their strength is in their defensive line. They've got an NFL prospect there, Gibbs, number 8, and so our offensive line's got to be ready to go.
Okay, so Eugene, if you were Towson, and they get paid too, they're FCS, so they're pretty smart coaches. In fact, the coach has been there 13 years, plus another 15 years as assistant at Towson. So they got a lot of pride at Towson. They got a lot of wanting to go out and win. They're 2-0. They got a lot of new people, new faces. If you were Towson, would you look at that Kansas film and say, well, we're kind of similar? That's what Neil Brown just said. Well, should we do the same thing? What a test, Gene, right off the bat.
Absolutely. Listen, don't let Townsend come in here today feeling like they're Buster Douglas. Okay? We're not going to do that. Don't let them jokers come in today feeling like Buster Douglas did against Tyson, all right? We can't let that happen. But the scary part, like you said, Wolf, you're looking at the tape and you're like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Kansas did what? Well, we can do the same thing. No, you can't. No, you can't. Let's be clear. We have to send an early message. It's not going to be that type of party. Every time we get the ball on offense, we should score. We should score 7 or 3. We should score points, right? Because we have the ability to do that. On defense, punch them in the freaking mouth early and often and get them off their track. Don't let them come in and feel like we're going to hang around with you for 3 quarters and then win in the 4th quarter. Not that kind of party. Let's hang up about 45 to 52 points, send a message, and put everybody on notice that we're back on track and we're going to be something to deal with for the weeks to come. That's how I'm looking at the game. I'm not disrespecting Towson. I'm just pro Mountaineers.
No, I like that. Let's go ahead. Joe's, I'm going to give you a second chance here to not finish off here. What did you see from Neil Brown and what he was saying and the breakdown? Because, again, if I'm similar to what I saw from Kansas, I'm going to try to confuse the heck out of that defense.
Well, and Towson's going to hang their hat on their offensive line. They're big. I mean, they're all 300-plus pounders. I think there's like one young guy in there. The other ones are all, 4- and 5th-year seniors. So they're going to hang their hat on that big bunch up front. And they're going to be juiced. They're going to be amped. They're going to be ready to play because, again, like I said, this is their stage. This is their opportunity to show the world. And, if they are smart, they did study Kansas's film. And they're gonna throw in some wrinkles there that gave us the most fits. And that's the kind of thing that they do. They got that quarterback can move around. So he's very similar. So, we got to be on our toes defensively. And like Gene said, we just got to hang up a bunch of points and squash them. Squash them.
Gene?
No, I agree 100%. I mean, the bottom line is, I don't care what wrinkles they throw in. They're not supposed. You got to let teams like that know you're not supposed to be on the field
early
with us. That's just how you're not supposed to be on the field. So let's do it early. Let's not hang around. Let's just do it early. Set the stage early. And I think personally, if we win the toss, put the D on the field first. Put the D on the field first to smack them in the mouth and let them know it's not going to be that kind of party right from the rip. And I think we will go out and do the things we need to do to win this game big. Don't keep it close. We need to win this game big.
Yep.
Okay, so I think I see an appearance by Mike Collins, who we saw the transfer from the practice field of the kids coaching in his car, and now he's I'm assuming you're at home, Mike.
That's dedication.
I made it home. I wanted to come. I wanted to check in before you all were finished. I got in here in my house, so you can hear me pretty well. And I just want to reiterate what Eugene said. Let's just take these guys out early. Let's handle business. The thing that was so frustrating is, we're home opener, first night game in 4 years or whatever, and it's a little to be desired. Much to be desired. Much was left. Business tonight. Do what Eugene said. Let's go out there. Let's take care of the game, and then we can enjoy the rest of the evening.
Yeah.
Oh, I like the way that sounds. I know Aaron Beasley sure does. Oh, look at that. Oh,
hey,
man. How are you?
Is that my buddy? What's up, bro?
Say what's up.
What's up?
What's up?
You know what? He sounds better than you, Mike.
He does.
Yeah, he's already made for the camera, so ready made.
Hey, well, you know what? You were too at one time. You were a handsome, fine man, but the years are starting to get to you, bro. Sorry. You know what? I can only say that because I love you, because we've been through the bad. And this has been really special. I got to tell you, because, the first two Mountaineer Legends pre-games have been wild, to say the least. And we're getting it together here, man. It's been something really cool. So this last 2 hours that I've just heard you guys talking, it has been really amazing to me. I think that we have to go ahead and really push this, because I'm tired. Honestly, I was one of them. 10 years I was with the other side, the other teams and stuff. And God bless them all, the great people. I love them all. But this is hearing from us. This is hearing from us. And I invite more players to want to join us and jump on here. This is the beginning. This is more than just about a pregame. This is about us, former players, coming together and doing some really cool stuff down the road. Fair warning to anyone who would oppose. Fair warning, we are coming. Fair warning, we're probably coming to kick your can too.
Hey, we're the ambassadors of that university. We wear that WV proudly wherever we go, and we're gonna go. We're gonna be there. All right, and that's what we're trying to do, man. We want this program to be the diamond. All right, the diamond, and you know, you got to come from a chunk of coal. I get that, but it can't take a millennia. Now's the time, right now, and we're ambassadors. And we love that university, and we are Mountaineer brothers, and we are Mountaineer legends.
Hey,
well, you
think
guys
about it like
are.
this.
I'm a legend in my own mind.
I think about this show as well, that, you know, I have a philosophy. We call it authentic intelligence. We're giving some real knowledge too. We're not some guys that didn't play ball. We actually had our, you know, blood and guts out there, no football, and we're actually teaching. You know, this ain't just like regular talk. We were out there and know the game. So I would say I have a PhD in D-backology.
D-backology.
I agree.
Did you just really say that?
Well, not
D-backology.
But in the locker room too, though, Bees, right? We in the relationships and what it takes to be a team, and all of us on successful teams at West Virginia. And so it's disappointing in the last 4 years, and see where we're at. So, you know, it's, you know, we know what it takes. You know, we we can't take a millennia. It's time. It's time. Let's get to
now.
Yep.
Now.
With that, I gotta go, fellas.
All right.
Yeah, it's time to watch some football now.
Oh. Hey, Beast.
Right.
Okay, you can stop yapping, all right? All right. Hey, God bless you guys. Here we go. Mountaineer Legends pregame. We are out. Done.
Much love, Mountaineer Nation. Much love.
Out.
Hi, I'm Sean Martin. I'm from Bluefield, West Virginia. And when I'm back home in Mercer County, you will find me at my local Palmar store.
We had that golden blue pride at Palmar. There are literally hundreds of Palmar stores in West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and even more on the way. Download the Palmar app to save even more. And whether it's food, gas, groceries, or whatever, we have you covered at Palmar. West Virginia proud, West Virginia strong, and ready to serve you.
If there's not a Palmar store near you now, there will be soon.
Where do the true gold and blue faithful go for the best in beer, burgers, pizza, wings, and more? It's the Mountaineer Tap House on the Evansdale campus. Mountaineer Tap House features well over 40 craft beers on tap, plus the best appetizers, salads, burgers, wings, pizza, and tacos the University City has to offer. Enjoy their exclusive craft cocktails too. Dine on the balcony or chill out inside with walls and walls of TVs. Follow Mountaineer Tap House on social media. Mountaineer Tap House, second floor above the Palmar store on the Evansdale campus.